We splurged and got 8 gigs of memory for this machine. Memory is one of the easier parts to install. You'll notice a notch here that's slightly offset. You'll want to match that up with the notch that's in the memory socket. Disengage the locks, drop it in, and apply firm pressure to both sides. Next we'll be installing our video card, which fits into a PCI Express slot. That's right down here. Before we plug this in, we'll need to remove the back plates on the back of the computer. I'm going to drop the card into the slot, and this little locking mechanism will close automatically. The final part of building our computer, and what some will argue is the most important, is plugging everything in. We have data and power cables to connect, and fortunately we have a modular power supply made by OCZ, so we can actually pick and choose and only use the power cables that we need. We also have this little knot of cables coming from the front of the computer, which handles our input, output, and other front panel connectors. And now we have reached my least favorite part, which is plugging in our front panel power switch and LED lights. If you're the kind of person who doesn't like to read an instruction manual, you're going to need to give that up right now, because you'll need to check the manual to see where these plug into. There is no standard format for them. So these little plugs here need to go into these little pins down here. Fortunately, our motherboard supports front panel HD audio. Just going to plug that in and make sure to line up the missing pin. The motherboard tray on the HAF 922 has some very conveniently placed holes as well as tie-down points, which lets you do some tricky cable work, such as running your cables behind the motherboard. This is the motherboard's primary power connector. We have a 24-pin power plug on the motherboard. Older motherboards have a 20-pin slot, but this is a modular plug. It will work for either one. Motherboard power. And now we're plugging in our case fans. The included fans with the HAF 922 have a nice adapter that they come with. If you want to use the Molex plug, you can plug directly into your power supply and the fan will always be on. Or you can use the 3-pin plug to plug directly into your motherboard, which will allow you to control the fan through your software. At this point, all of our parts are installed, and we're just going to do one final check to make sure the power and data cables are plugged in for everything. Then we're going to power it on and make sure it posts before we tie down all these cables. And now the moment of truth. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. That's better. Our fans are spinning. Got a post. Excellent. Now, whether you're a first-time builder or you do this for a living, you should always pay attention to your airflow. Wherever you have cables that are loose and hanging around, grab a zip tie, cinch them down, and that will improve your thermals overall. Tying down all your cables can take a lot of zip ties, but I actually do still have a few left over from the ones that were included with the case. Getting them tucked back behind the motherboard tray will really improve your airflow, and the side panel of the HAF 922 has a nice convex area here, so you'll still have room to put the side panel back on once all your cables are tucked back behind there. I've worked with a decent number of cases in the past, and I really like the thoughtful touches that Cooler Master has included with the HAF 922. In particular, the huge 200mm fans move a lot of air at low speeds, which gives you fantastic airflow while staying almost completely silent. The HAF 922 gives you all the tools you need to put together a well-built computer, and also makes sure that you can easily swap out parts if you need to. The one addition I would like to see in a future revision is a removable motherboard tray, but that's really the only negative thing that I was able to come up with about this case. That's it for today's video. Thanks everyone for watching, and remember, if you want to see a complete list of the parts that I used as well as notes on this build, you can visit www.eggexpert.com and go to the Newegg YouTube channel forum. We'll see you next time on Newegg TV.